How's it going, guys? I'm your host Caravan Gaming. Welcome back to a very special DragonFable video, and as you guys can tell from the title already, today we have Q&A with the Developers Episode 2, and for today's episode we have Dracelix. So Dracelix is an artist over at Artix Entertainment, and I know the first question on your guys' minds is probably, hey, today's interview format looks a little bit different from what you've seen in episode 1 or even in my Q&A videos. I'll go through that in a little bit, but before we get started, let me just lay out a few ground rules first for first time viewers of this series. Okay, so first of all, the staff has completely no obligation to answer or entertain me whatsoever, so I'm very grateful and thankful to them for, taking time out of their busy schedules to go ahead and answer all of these questions, and on top of that, I already made it very clear to them that they can choose not to answer any questions that they do not feel comfortable with answering or do not wish to answer. It is completely within their right to their own privacy and whatever NDA agreements that they have signed with the company. So if they are unable to answer a question, it is completely fine. Please don't give them flack for it. And the next thing is, why am I doing this interview in a written form rather than going on like a video call or something like that, having a proper interview. And that is simply because of firstly, time zone difference. I'm living in Asia, they are living all the way in the United States, at least most of the staff is, so it's going to be very hard for us to be able to have free time on both sides to be able to sit down together. On top of that, the staff are very busy people. They are constantly prepping for every week's release, which is just so amazing, by the way. That's why I don't really think it will be appropriate for me to impose on them too much, and that's why I decided that it will be better if it was in a written form, so they can take their own time to go ahead and answer the questions, and whenever they are ready, they can send the answers back to me and I'll put them together in a video. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is all of the answers that you guys are seeing and reading on the screen right now is completely 100% word for word from them. I am not editing them in any way, and this has not been edited at all. This is exactly what they have answered me. That being said, I will give a few of my comments after reading out each question and answer if there's something for me to comment on, to make the thing a little bit more interactive since it's just me talking. Okay, and last but not least, don't ask me when the next episode will be. I do not know. It's whenever the staff is free to reply to all my questions. And on top of that, these episodes also take quite a long time to make because of all the editing work that I have to do. So the best way to stay up to date on when the next episode will be is obviously to subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying the content. And now finally, to answer the question that has been on your minds ever since the video started, why does today's format look so different? And for that, I really want to shout out and thank Dracelix for doing this. Okay, it is completely voluntary on his part. I did not ask him to do this. In fact, this was all his idea to begin with. Okay, so he actually volunteered to design like a little, like make the entire interview prettier for me. And on top of that, this also saves me a lot of editing time and editing work since I can just go through the questions right here with the nice pretty graphics and all that. So really, shout out and thank you to Dracelix for doing this. I did not even think of asking him to do this, and he was like, no, it's fine. And I was like, if it's not too much trouble, then sure, I really appreciate it if you can do that. And so here it is, very nice graphics designed by Dracelix to go along with the interview. It really gives it his own personal flair. Yeah, I really like that. So let's go through the interview right now. First question, can you tell us a little about yourself? Hey there, I'm Dracelix. I've been a DragonFable player since 2007 and Artix for Artix Entertainment since 2011. So this year it's his 10th year working for AE. Nice. And he has been playing DragonFable since 2007. Wow, that's almost, I think it's the same time that I started as well. Very long-term player. Nice. My primary role is in helping Verly and Dove with content for DragonFable each week. But I've also been involved with AQ Worlds at times too. So he's an artist for AE and he doesn't work exclusively on DragonFable art. He also works on AQ Worlds as well, so if you guys play AQ Worlds, you guys will probably see some of his artwork inside of that game as well. Okay, next. How do you first know about AE? I first discovered Artix games through Adventure Quest. I played it a little bit, but it was DragonFable and MechQuest which caught my attention. Wow, this was, I believe it's the same as Verly. It seems like they all started off from Adventure Quest, and I think that's really cool that Adventure Quest is really where the starting point of what got all these staff hooked. And you can see a recurring pattern here. All the staff that I've interviewed so far, they all started off as players. They did not start off as someone who just, completely didn't know anything about the game, walked up to the game company one day, and got the job. They all started off as players, just like you and me. They really liked the game, and then, eventually they worked their way up to become artists and developers for the games that they love to play. And I think that's really amazing. Okay? The ability to walk around and explore ever-expanding worlds and always have something to do week on week was very much the sort of thing I was looking for in an online fantasy game, and the ease of community which came with it was refreshing for its time. Nice. What attracted you to come work for AE? I spent a lot of my teenage years playing DragonFable releases, checking the design notes and engaging in the Arctics forums. Seeing how open the team was about the ongoing development and putting an avatar to each of the creators involved within Arctics Entertainment helped a lot in realizing these are everyday people who get to make games for a living. After discovering new staff are often chosen from within the community and having this fantasy world to channel my creativity towards, I made it a goal to learn the software and develop my art style to create things fitting in the world of DragonFable, which eventually was recognized and became creating things for the world of DragonFable. Wow. Very inspiring story indeed. So like all of us, he started off as player. Afterwards, he started designing things, for DragonFable, and the current staff at that time probably really liked his work and decided to bring him onto the team, and that's why we are getting all of the amazing artwork that you guys see nowadays. It's definitely a huge improvement from the artwork of the past. Not saying that the past artists are bad or anything, but as time progresses on, we got a lot better artwork, and as the artists got a lot better at their skill, I'm sure they are bringing all of that out to us players. Very nice. Next question. What do you think you'll be doing now if you weren't working for AE? Games and art are my passion, so one way or another I'll find a new creative avenue for my skills. I studied 3D game development at my time in university and have a few years of graphic design work in my portfolio. Favorite colleague in the office. For those who don't know, many of Arctics Entertainment developers work online from all over the world. It certainly helps define us less by location and more as a community. But it's hard to pick any favorites, I'm afraid. We all get along rather well. So this seems to be a common answer among all of the staff. Okay, and I'm not sure if it's just because of COVID or they've been working from home all this time, because I think that's really amazing that the staff are able to communicate with each other despite being from different countries all over the world. And it's really cool to see that the entire Arctics Entertainment family as a whole is so international, to have both players from all over the world as well as staff from all over the world. Next one. Which artist/game team would you most like to collaborate with from AE? Outside of DragonFable, I always find myself enchanted by J6's artwork. Over the years, he has done more than most to develop and maintain a fantastic style for AQ Worlds, with focus on good shading theory, reusability of modular assets, and keeps it all well organized and optimized. Whenever I've dug myself into a hole artistically, my ladder out is to head straight to his Twitter for inspiration. Wow. Wow. J6, a huge inspiration for Dracelix. And I've seen a bit of J6's artwork as well. Not so much in AQ Worlds, more in MechQuest, to be honest. And I really like J6's artwork as well. And I can see why Dracelix really looks up to him as sort of like an idol or inspiration to, draw from wherever he is stuck in a creative rut. Next one, do you play DF in your spare time as a player instead of a staff/tester? If yes, how long/often? It's usually after a release goes live when I'm done testing and I can enjoy the release alongside players. My favorite thing to do is grab the newest gear and see what matches well, and then check through Discord for cool player character looks. Fashion Fable, guys. Okay, I am not a big Fashion Fable guy myself, as you guys can tell from my videos. I don't really bother, switching to make sure the gear matches and all of that. I'm more of a practicality guy, but of course, artwork is a huge part of RPGs, and I can see that he is really enjoying the new. He probably really enjoys the new item slotting system that Verly and Dove created. So that's nice. Another +1 point for the Fashion Fable community. Next one. Do you play any other AE games? MechQuest I still dip into occasionally for nostalgia, and I'm tempted to jump into AQ3D at some point. Oh man, MechQuest. Gosh, I wish there was still developers working on that game. Honestly, it is, such a it was one of the big three games that Artix Entertainment started off with. And even though AQ and DF are still going very strong right now, MechQuest, unfortunately, with its lack of developers, is pretty much, just left there for the sake of it. I think that it's kind of sad that they no longer have any people working on MechQuest anymore. I hope at some point of time in the future, they are able to find people to continue working on the game, and I think that'll be really cool. MechQuest is currently filled with a lot of bugs, and don't get me wrong, it is still playable, but definitely, not that enjoyable with all the bugs and glitches that nobody is working on to fix. And after Ash left the company, the game has pretty much been left to its own devices. Sure, it received a seasonal update whereby every season it will rotate through its events. I think that's pretty cool that the staff managed to implement that before they left the game to its current state right now, but there's still a lot that could be done for the game. So yeah. Do you play any non-AE games? If yes, can you name your favorite, most influential? TES4, The Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion, Pokemon Leaf Green, Dark Chronicle, Final Fantasy X, most recent, League of Legends, Beat Saber. Ooh. Wow, okay, quite a variety gamer here. We have LOL, which is obviously a super popular game. Beat Saber as well. That one is the thing whereby you play using the VR headset. I think that's very cool. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, haven't played through that before. And obviously Pokemon being a huge part of any 90s kid's childhood. Okay. I'm not exactly sure how old he is, so I'm just saying that because I think he'll be around the I estimate he is someone around the 20s to 30s age. I don't know because he didn't tell me. Okay, next question. One thing you like about DF: fashion. Being able to put together a look with all the gear you've acquired and customize colors and armors to be what you envision is just so satisfying. So obviously a fashion fable guy, as we can see from the earlier questions. One thing you don't like about DF: of all the old systems that are hard to rework at this point, one of the biggest pain points is how each class has custom animation sets. This makes creating new classes a lot of effort for the team we have. Okay, so Verly actually pointed out something similar inside of his interview as well, and it's that how it is kind of difficult for the staff to have custom animation sets for each class. I see this as both a pro and a con. The staff sees this more as a con, obviously, because it's more work for them, but as a player myself, I really like it when each class has its own different animation sets that sets it apart from the other classes. It will be pretty boring if one class has all of the same animations, and that's just my perspective as a player. But I can see that if I'm looking as a staff perspective, then obviously it's going to be a lot more work. But I find that with the custom animations, it really helps to flesh out a class and give it its own unique identity. Okay, so if they can find a way to strike a balance between, having unique animations for each class, at the same time not making it too difficult for themselves to work on, then I think that'll be great. Next question. One thing you want to change about DF: fighting is usually the way forward. Some more non-combat things will be a fun change of pace. I agree. I mean, it is an RPG after all, and this is a turn-based game, so obviously for like 99% of the game you'll be fighting. But last Lucky Day, we actually saw some neat puzzles that were implemented by Verly and Dove. It got quite mixed feedback. Some people like it, some people don't. For me personally, I find it a little bit difficult. For some of the more casual players, they probably find it a bit more difficult as well. But for the more hardcore players, players who like to think more and play around with it more, then I'm sure they enjoy the change of pace and the new puzzle elements. I wonder if we'll see something similar for this year's Lucky Day. Who knows? Next question. Your favorite class in the game and why? Paladin was always what defined me as I developed my avatar, and recently being able to add new customization to it really makes it shine. I also have a soft spot for Ranger and how well received the redesign for it was. Paladin. Okay, it did not really get a skills revamp. Okay, it did get a huge artwork revamp as well as customization options as well. And it is a really good tanking class. Obviously, I think it is probably the best tanking class inside of the game. And do I think it needs a revamp? Honestly, no, because I think it's still very viable in some of the challenges nowadays. Granted, it is not the best way to do a challenge, but that does not mean that it's weak by any means, okay? Ranger as well. Ranger very well received revamp. I'm sure everybody liked it. It's a very strong bossing class right now, probably one of the top 5 classes that people like to use inside of the Inn at the Edge of Time. Next, your proudest release. The Oculus Tower was the first quest I took the reins with, and it was great to be able to have a creative vision and execute it to the best of my talents at the time. But artistically, I'll have to say Valve, Z-Clam, and the many class customizations are some of my newest and most satisfying things to have made. Ooh, interesting. So he made Valve and Z-Clam as well. Ooh, that's quite cool. Okay, I thought Valve was more of an AQ Worlds thing. I didn't know Valve was his design. Wow, that's very impressive. I do really like the artwork for Valve though. And Z-Clam as well. Yeah, I would say he has done a pretty fantastic job with the artwork for both of these in bosses. Okay, next one. One tip for new/returning players. If you're ever feeling stuck in the game, then Artix Entertainment forums and Discord are fantastic for offering advice on what to do, where to go, and which items are the best. Also show off everything, what releases you love, what aspects are frustrating, your achievements, etc. We try to take feedback as much as possible and are constantly improving the game with every new release. See, I believe I mentioned this before, but that's really what sets Artix games apart from, you know, any other game, is that they take player feedback very seriously. They really listen to all of the concerns that players have, and they try to improve the game in the way that players like. You know, they don't just do their own thing, you know, to milk players for more money. AE doesn't do that. They really pay a lot of attention and care to what the players like and what the players don't like, and try to improve the game in the way that the players really want to. And I think that is really, you know, what makes Artix Entertainment games still one of my favorite games today. Okay, and of course, if you guys are feeling stuck in the game like what he said, you can go to AE forums and the Discord for advice, because the staff hang out there sometimes, and both the AE forums and the Discord are usually populated with a lot of pro players. If you guys ever need help for something, I'm sure there will be someone who will be available to help you. Okay, as an artist, can you share with us if there are any restrictions AE places on the artwork you need to create for them? Besides the need for art to fit a theme or intention of the narrative, there's not many restrictions we are given, other than our art being player friendly and being original creations. Take inspiration without stealing. Nice. Okay, so good to see that they are able to flex their creative skills without, you know, too tight of a rein, to be able to see what they are really capable of. Out of the 3 books in DF, which book has your favorite artwork and why? Art-wise, it just has to be book 3. DragonFable has had a lot of artists over the years who have made a good deal of content in its time, though it has meant the style shifts about along the way. With book 3, the development and consistency of art we've reached has taken hold well in my opinion. This is shown especially in the reimagined releases. Yep, and I fully agree with this. Definitely a huge step up from book 1 and book 2 artwork. You can really see the progress. Like book 1, it had a bit more basic artwork. Book 2 is started to get a little bit more interesting with all the Italian classes and all that. Really nice artwork in book 2 as well. Not saying I hate book 1 artwork, but it just seemed to be a bit more basic. Back when times were simpler, you know, back when DF was a rather new game. But nowadays, you know, almost 20 years on, right now, okay, it's not exactly 20 years yet, okay, over 10 plus years on moving forward, book 3, I can say without a doubt the art style is definitely fantastic and is a huge improvement from what DF used to be. Any big plans you have for the game currently but are unable to carry out due to lack of time? The Leon/Crest saga needs continuing in some form. I plan to, I think he meant to say revisit it, but as and when it's still up in the air at the moment. Okay, Leon and Crest Saga. Yep, Sir Leon, we don't really see much of it except in his own quest. I would like to see him fleshed out as a character a little bit more. Any thoughts on the DF community, forums, Discord, Reddit, YouTube, etc.? Keep sharing your theories, strategies, fashion, fan art, and memes, cause we see them all and they are everything we look forward to with and between each release. Last question, your aspiration for DF. To keep up the art and take reins on more and more new quests, bosses, maybe even a class or 2. Oh wow, okay. Could we be seeing a new class? But before that, can we please see Flash Weaver? Okay, so that is going to do it for today's interview. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode as much as I have enjoyed making it. Once again, huge shout out and thank you to Dracelix for not only agreeing to take on the interview, but at the same time making this beautiful graphic for me to go over. You know, it really saves me a lot of time with the editing and whatnot. And you know, I'm sure you guys enjoy the artwork done by him as well. So if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you want to see more of such future content, more of such future Q&As, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Till the next time, I'm your host, Korban Gaming. Peace out.